Here we go. What's up, guys? Episode 2 of the Be Better podcast. I'm here with my boy Ivan, longtime friend, brother of mine. And yeah, we're going to get into a little bit about our story, how we met each other, growing up together, moving together. We got a long history, some funny stories for you guys. And yeah, I just want to start with telling everybody who reached out to me, showing support and love for the show. I appreciate that a lot. It's definitely not easy getting in front of the camera, something I'm working on. Y'all watch me grow and develop doing this. And yeah, so let's just get started. So about 6 years ago, Ivan actually moved back from Maryland and joined the wrestling team. So we've been partners in the wrestling room, grinding together for about 6 years. And I just want to say wrestling has definitely shaped me as a man, and I think you could say the same.
Definitely. I think anytime you're cutting weight and you're working out hard, it definitely has a strong mental impact in how you think and how you go about. And forcing yourself, not to eat for a sport, that definitely changes you and how your work ethic is. And I think anyone that's able to, be able to do that, they just have a great path that they're going to work on. Also, I think the move between, me and Bryce, I think that we had an awesome, upbringing, just working, wrestling with each other. Because our original friendship, it was really just wrestling partners. We just wrestled with each other. We hung out during wrestling season, and we kind of started parting our own ways until here recently when we've started just trying to level up who we are as people.
And yeah, so we wrestled for 4 years at West York together. A local high school, most of you watching this know that and know us, but you probably don't know our story. So our 10th grade year going into 11th grade, we actually moved to a different high school. We both transferred from one high school to the same other high school, and that's when our brotherhood really began, I would say.
And it was a crazy move.
Yeah, moving is not easy. It definitely leveled me up in that alone.
And also just trying to get us into where we can wrestle the postseason. That was the whole thing. 2 wrestlers, going to the same school. I mean, for sure, it definitely looks a little suspicious in that sense. So the whole journey of getting to Spring Grove and getting to meet some of the cool people we got to meet, it was definitely a good trip.
I think that just shows as who we are. We're willing to do anything to get better and level up, and I think we're still on that grind. A lot of hours of getting beat up by this guy right here, and a few other things I wanted to say. I don't know that I ever really showed you my appreciation for this, but so when I was going through a hard time recently, I talked about this on the last podcast, coming back from college, not really knowing my path. I kind of reached out to you, and I have a lot of other friends, a lot of close people in my life, but none of them people really showed me tough love. And I just remember talking to you one day, and you were like, well, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing in your life? And I didn't even have an answer. I couldn't even respond to that. And that really helped me as a man to just learn, like, hey, I got to really figure this out, and that I have a brother here supporting me in that journey. And even more recently, we were kind of having some back and forth over something personal that we were going to do together. One of us kind of backed out, and I felt terrible about it. But no one's ever told me that they were willing to literally let me eat before them, help me in any way possible, and that felt good. So I know you're going to be my brother forever, and yeah.
That's what brothers are for, It's when you have a true brotherhood, it's you put them first, and that's just how a true friendship is. I always look out, for your best interest, even if that's not, even if it's against mine, So, and I think what I wanted to touch up on when you were in college, a little bit about that story was, I was starting my own thing, and I had a little bit of success, and obviously, I always hold Bryce to a high standard. Just, we've trained together and we've grown so much together. And for me personally, how I see the college system, I think it's just a super highly paid, drink fest, especially at his school, Coastal Carolina. Amazing school, I have nothing but great things to say about it, but I just knew Bryce had more potential in him. And, this podcast is the beginning of that. And it definitely takes some major balls to hop behind the camera. And I think, everything is just going to go down his path, and he knows it.
For sure. Yeah, Coastal Carolina was definitely a good time. I felt the same way. It wasn't for me. I definitely have more in me than that. Going out and partying on the weekends and drinking, trying to find some low quality females out there, about those stories. But let's get into our first topic. We're gonna kind of rally this off weight cutting and our wrestling background. So both of us, I would say, have years of experience in diet and just cutting weight, losing weight the right way, the wrong way. So let's get
We've done
into
it the wrong way.
yeah, multiple times. But I think for anyone listening to this who never really tried to lose weight or has done, even if you have lost weight but you've done it slow, I think you need to set a goal for yourself and try to get to a weight that's going to be really hard for you to get to, and do a little bit of a water cut just one time in your life and figure out what true suffering feels like. I think that really leveled me up and helped me just become the man I am today, learning that hard things always have a brighter side. And yeah, some facts about just gut health and why you should be worried about what you eat. I know this is something that I've always been big into, and you recently have started getting into it, I feel like.
Definitely.
We'll get into a little bit about your diet then, but yeah, so your gut health, it is responsible for 95% of your total body serotonin. And for those of you who don't know what serotonin is, basically it's your body's happiness drug, and it's good for learning, it's good for memory, it's good for your sexual drive, your testosterone. And these are all things that literally just by eating the right foods and providing your body with the right nutrients that you need. And you're not going to fill a Ferrari with that low quality gas. You're going to put premium in that thing.
And the crazy thing to think is it's also the food you're putting in your body, it correlates to quite literally everything you do in your life. So I mean, if you're eating Big Macs, you look like crap. You can't work as good as you could have worked if you ate a healthier option. Everything in your life starts slowing down with the food you put in your body. It just simply, like, especially us diving in, 95% of your total motivation, your total drive, like everything about you changes with the food that you eat. And like I've definitely seen it in my personal life. Definitely been eating less, eating a lot healthier, super clean, super strict, and my work ethic's going up. And we go back to wrestling. We already have a high drive, and a high work ethic, and we're already seeing major gains in our life just with the food that we're eating. We learn better. You can learn quicker. Everything in your life correlates to what you eat. Like when they say is you are what you eat.
For sure. I think it's crazy that I'm kind of so in tune with my body and my mind that I can really feel it. And now I can even see it in people. You can look at someone now once you've done it and experienced it. You can see that they're shaped like what they eat, the bad foods they put in their body. And I think a lot of you guys watching this might not have the diet or level of nutrition experience we have this. So just try to do one thing at a time. And if you're trying to look at all these different diets, it can definitely be overwhelming. I will tell you one thing: do not choose to do a vegan diet. I hate that. And so I think,
and if you ever need help, reach out.
Yeah, for sure. I have written down in my notes that I am looking at that Ivan's gonna clown me for almond milk. Okay, I'll give you guys one tip of advice, one thing you can take away from this, and this will kind of lead us into our next topic. So I know out there it's posted and kind of in a way that makes you want to think that these alternative milks, almond, oat milk, are better for you than necessarily whole milk or 2% or whatever the hell. But it's like you guys are probably thinking, well, what does Bryce know? I heard that almond milk was really good for you, better than all these. Have you ever looked into how many almonds are actually in almond milk? Well, it's less than 5. So just whatever the hell you think is in that milk, it's not almonds.
Yeah, I think, but also just to be the counter to that, I think if you have, a big lactose problem, that's a problem with most people. If you do have a lactose problem, drinking almond milk, it's not going to kill you, but it's also, don't have the misconception that it's the most healthy thing for your body either. So I think if you have the lactose problem, that's fine, drink the almond milk, but don't be misconstrued with that being the most healthy option out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think and just make it basic. If you're overwhelmed by all these diets, and many things can be overwhelming with the internet these days, but I think trying to just cut out highly preserved foods, go to your butcher, your local butcher, your local farmer's market, get some raw milk, get some good ground beef. I know the steaks can be expensive, but ground burger, rice, fruit, honey, all those things, that's what your diet should consist of. Yeah, I cheat here and there. Yeah, you should cheat here and there, but just know that it's going to affect you. It's going to determine how you sleep. It's going to determine how you think. Many factors. And I think a lot of people listening to this really don't even tune into their body or their mind, and they just kind of run on what we call bot mode.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Most of you guys will just see something on the internet and be like, "Oh yeah, I think that's correct. That's how it should be done." But I think we really need to get into, as a society and as our generation more so, we need to start learning for ourselves. Start reading. Start doing your own research. Start taking account of how you feel, how you're thinking, your energy levels.
And also just understand how much of the media we see today is purported to fit a certain agenda. And, I won't get into that super in depth, but you need to understand that everything you're seeing online, everything that's being pushed, it's not all for the good, your good. And, you need to understand is when you're taking opinions from people and you're taking advice from people, you need to look at that person and see who their interest is. When a doctor tells you to act a certain way because they want you to get sick, or, there's plenty of examples out there to where people want something out of you, so they'll tell you a certain thing. You'll see something online, you'll see something, and you'll be like, oh, this is the fact, and you have to take, what they say, understand it, let it in, and do your own research. Look up, look into what Bryce says about almond milk. Look into everything we say, because what we say might not even be right. You know what I'm saying? Do your own research, read your own stuff, and be a well-informed person. That's what we're pushing for. In the Be Better. That's it.
For sure. I think one piece of advice, I'm not even sure who I heard this from, but I try to live my life by this now, and I know you do too, but it said don't take advice from anyone that you wouldn't change places in life with. And that really motivated me and showed me the people I should and should not be listening to. I recently had an interview with great people. They were really good guys. Really, it was for a personal training job. And these guys were good. They knew the ins and outs of the body. I would want them to be my personal trainer, But money isn't everything, but I saw the cars they were pulling up in. I don't want to be driving a car like that when I'm their age. I saw kind of what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to be just another worker for less pay. We're not going to get into all that, but I think that we kind of touched on it here, but open-mindedness, I want to talk about that. Definitely something I've been in tune with and found out about a long time ago when I started listening to podcasts. You gotta hear things and accept things, but you gotta also think about the other side of things. And so, politically, when you think you might be a right side or a left side or whatever the hell the sides are, you just go with what your parents say or what the person you look up to says. It's not even your own thought, or the clothes you buy. You're just like, oh, I saw that on Instagram, or this cool kid at school was wearing these, so now I want to get these.
Yeah, this kid's rocking a Gucci belt. I want to wear a Gucci belt. It's not even what you really want. It's just what society pushes down your throat, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. I think just by thinking on your own and trying to figure out what makes you happy and what your drive is and what you think's cool, or just...
Yeah, you know what? I don't mean to cut you
off.
Go
ahead.
This is one thing that I'm actually experiencing, in my life, or at least what I see with others. Because for me personally, I think okay, we can talk about how clothes are important or about how these material items are, but what about people's lives? Are you the people that's watching at home? Are you doing what you want to be doing with your life? Is this all you want? And I was actually just having a conversation with somebody today, to where it's they have an opportunity to go somewhere else or explore something else and do something, but they're talking to me and they're like, they want to be part of the system, to where it's well, I went and got my degree, I want this to be my life, but then they also talk about how they would like to do this, that, and the other. So it's like society will push you to do certain things and live and make you live by a certain lifestyle. And I think it's very important for people to understand. You need to make yourself happy and understand that what you're doing is directly correlated to how you feel. So if somebody is telling you that you need to go down this path, you need to do this, think about it. Is that your thoughts? Is that what you want? And I think a lot of people are stuck in this little rat race to where they're not doing what they want to do. And I think that's going to be the cause of a lot of the depression people are going through, a lot of the worries people are going through. And then you mix all that with a terrible diet. Now you just have these low life individuals. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I can say I recently have dealt with some of the same things, and personally, I will say that I think it's important to actually. So for me, I didn't even actually know what I wanted to do until I went and tried these other options and these other things that people were pushing down my throat and wanting me to do. That was their goal and their picture of me, but it wasn't mine. And some of these things I only found out by trial. You don't learn anything until you fail at it or until you actually step out there and try it. And I think a lot of people listening to this right now can definitely relate to that. Or if you're my age and graduating from high school, it is a scary time. You don't necessarily know your next path. You're developing, for the men listening to this, you're developing into a young man and trying to become who you have this picture of in your mind, and only you know what you want to become and the goals you want to accomplish. So I think if you're kind of debating between paths, go try one. Give it everything you got. See what you think of it, and you'll learn from that. You'll learn if it's the opportunity you want to take. So for me, I tried this personal training thing. I went to the interview. I showed up. I talked to the guys, and through that, I found out this wasn't the path I wanted to take. So I think this trial and error, you got to fail in life. You're not going to lose everything by trying something and failing, especially when you're younger. Don't be scared to go try new things.
Yeah, for the young audience, go out there and make some stuff happen. Go have fun. You know what I'm saying? What fun is to us, a lot of the fun that derives is actually the achievements through our hard work.
For sure.
We work very hard all the time, and, obviously that's not fun.
Yeah.
For everybody. But what comes out of it, when you get the paycheck and things are looking real fun, that's the fun. It's delayed gratification. You have to learn that. I think, we can cycle that into, dopamine.
For sure.
Limiting the amount of dopamine. Like, it's hard until you actually see how long you scroll on your phone, how much you watch porn, how much you do all this stuff. Like the phone, like for me personally, like I'm on my phone all the time, and me and Bryce have been talking about cutting stuff back, and that's obviously what we're working on. But your life actually, because I can say this through, I've went through monk mode, and what monk mode is basically a completely dopamine detox. So while he was at school, no one was home. I was pretty much there by myself working. That's it, in my room with no one else. Deleting social medias, deleting everything, hopping off at all social media platforms, and just totally escaping everything. You start to realize how much you were just addicted to scrolling, how much you were addicted to sugary foods, how much you were addicted to all this minute things, and the great part that comes out of it at the end is where you can actually start appreciating the small things. Like walking outside.
For sure.
Just like having a nice view. Like there's been so many times that I've gotten to see cool things, but like when I had all this dopamine from scrolling, I didn't really sit down and appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it takes you taking back all that dopamine and all that fun, all this fun stuff that's not what we were meant to do.
Yeah.
What I mean?
I think I recently deleted social media for the first time, and I didn't even realize how much of my life it was consuming and how the effects it had on me until I tried it. And
go check your screen time. It'll tell you right there.
Yeah, that goes back to what we were saying earlier. Most of you guys don't even realize these things that you're doing and things that are affecting you mentally, physically, emotionally, ruining your relationships. But you got to tune in with yourself. And I think I told you at the gym the other day, I was like, I downloaded Instagram again. And yeah, it was for marketing and promoting this podcast here. But I was just like, scrolling and seeing things that people were doing, and I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck what these people are doing. It's not helping me. It's making me sad because I wish I was there, but realistically, these people aren't happy. They're just posting their glamorous moments in life and trying to make other people jealous, even if that's not their goal or intentions.
Well,
But
it's just for the attention aspect.
yeah, it's just a highlight reel of their life.
Yeah, I think I think that's a big trap people fall in, is to where they're focused. Well, I wouldn't even say that they're focusing on other people, but they do let that get to them. And I can even say I compare myself to others.
Uh-huh.
As much as I hate it,
Same here.
it's a normal thing. You do compare yourself to others, but it is a big freeing part of your life when you can start to let that go, to where what so and so does throughout their day, even though it might be better than what I'm doing. I'm focusing on myself, leveling myself up,
Yeah.
and then eventually I'll either catch up or I'll enjoy my life.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like the thing we also recently were talking about, the shiny object syndrome. And I'm nowhere near being able to allow myself to have that or even want that. I want to try to never have that in my life. Yeah, if you work really hard and want to go buy that cool car or that cool watch, go do it. But don't be consumed by objects, even houses. It doesn't matter what house you live in. You can still grind and hustle the same. It doesn't matter who has the cooler car. It matters how you feel. You're not going to get anywhere in life by chasing that next object, chasing that next dopamine spike by buying the object. It doesn't get you anywhere. And I think I'm trying to now tune into just using these objects that I want as just motivation. And I think it's important to realize that motivation is good. Some days you need it, but motivation will not get you anywhere. Discipline and just going out and grinding and doing it, that's when you're really going to level up. That's when you're going to start to move and start to see changes in your life just by doing it.
Dude, you gotta get less swivelly chairs, dude. I'm out here rocking.
Yeah, this chair doesn't even
I don't know if it's just nervously moving or what, but I'm always just popping around.
Just get steady chairs.
Yeah, sit me in place.
Yeah, for sure. My chair, I feel like I'm gonna tip over and fall over at any moment now, kind of.
You better catch me just spinning around.
For sure. What else do we got? I don't know. I think we can end it here. I hope you guys took something away from this episode. They're going to keep getting better. We're going to get less nervous beforehand.
Wait 1 second. Before
Go
we cut it off,
ahead.
I challenge everybody just to look at who they hang around. I think it's
for
super
sure.
important. So my last thing I just want to say is, pay attention to who you're hanging around, and understand that that's who you're going to become. So, and this is no heat to anybody, because obviously only our friends are watching this. But understand who you're hanging around, and if that isn't your goal in life, then I think you need to change it, or at least change the mindset of the group, especially with my super close friends. They're all trying something new, they're all trying to be better. I can't say that it's gotten anywhere quite yet, but they're at least in the mindset of where they're trying to do something better, and that's better than doing nothing. So look at who you're around, and know your goals, and if you can find a group of men and that are comparable to your goals, it's gonna happen. You hang around super influential people, that's who you're gonna become. So just pay attention to who you're around, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Ending for Be Better.
Yeah, I'll touch on that too. I've been tapping into that recently, and I know everybody's heard it growing up, the people you surround yourself are who you're going to become. But really think about that and really look at your circle and determine, we were talking about this the other day, just the vibe, the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know that feeling in your gut. You know when people are giving off good energy, or hang around people who just want what's best for you and actually genuinely feel that way. They're not comparing themselves to you. They don't care if you have more money or less money in your bank account. They don't care if you're fat, out of shape, don't look as good as them, don't have as much as them. They just want to help you. They just want to be there for you. And they're by your side grinding every single day.
Got your back. It's important.
Yeah, that loyalty aspect, I think that's a big thing. Make sure the people around you are loyal. And it's not easy to change your circle. For some of you, it's the people you grew up with, the people you've known your whole life. But you got to take a look at it. You got to understand where you want to be, and you got to understand those people are always going to be there. They're always going to be your friends. They're always going to be there for you. But you got to see where you want to go, and you got to understand what it's going to take to get there. So, yeah, we'll end there. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, tune in to the next episode. I'm going to try to drop one a week. It's probably going to be out every Sunday. That's what I'm shooting for.
And he's got an update for Fight Week, too. So
Yeah, tune in to the Bruce and Bryce show. We're going to be talking about UFC only on there. And I'm going out to New Jersey this week, as you heard on last week's podcast. I'm going to be doing a Fight Week vlog, hopefully talking to some of the fighters, hopefully meet some famous people out there. So, yeah, tune in. A lot of content coming soon. Thank you guys for watching. It was great having you on, brother. Peace out. Hell yeah.
Podcast.
25 minutes.